It's more so finding my vocal range. I should probably wait till we go live, right?
No, we're
We're
you
live
can
right there. You can
talk,
see. I
and
don't know
yeah,
why
and
I'm
then
pointing
we're
to
gonna go
my
live. And
screen.
I think we're going live now, pretty much.
Okay. The main question is once you find.
All right, JJ, ask the question again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me. Okay, so let me rephrase it. Should you stick to Okay, is it possible? Okay, can a person have multiple vocal ranges, but should your singing style just be specifically one vocal range? Like, suppose you can go really, you can go like John Legend, but you can also hit some high pitches. Even though it doesn't matter because okay, we're not artists or anything, or at least not front center artists, but does it matter? Can you go in and out, or should you just stick with one vocal range to master that range? Is my main question.
Well, that's a good question. But the thing is, when you say range,
Yes.
are you saying style of singing, or are you saying literally like, are you singing low, or are you singing like high in the in the notes? Because I could be singing with my like low voice, like a Kiss favorite Kiss song. What's that? It's really low range. Like no, baby, I was made for loving you. That's low range, right? But then there's you could sing the song like an octave above, like I was made for loving you, baby. Right? That's like I'm not the best singer, and it's a Did you hear how that was different?
Yeah.
Not just styles, but like not just falsetto versus whatever, but like actually like different pitches. There's like low octave and high octave, so that's can be a range in a way, right? You can refer to it as a range, or you can refer to the style of execution, like delivery of the vocal. So which one are you referring to?
More so the first one you went with. The first one, yeah.
So the range.
Yeah, the range. Should you just, because I realize you can dabble. I'm sure Daniel can go in between different ranges because I heard you hit some high pitches, and then I know you do opera. So is it more so, listen, you just got to find a style. You just got to stick to one, or can you? Because no artist, I don't think we can point to really any artist that switches their vocal ranges. Even if they can, they just stick to one. So I'm assuming
it's I'm obviously a little laggy, so I'm sorry. But I don't only sing opera, and I think it really depends on the person, because there's some people that can sing, everything. And you have someone who, like Whitney Houston, that could sing the hell out of anything, or Michael Jackson or something like that. And I think it's just about going to the piano. I mean, without getting super technical into it, because you can in voice, but like I would just go to a piano, sing to your lowest comfortable note, sing to your highest comfortable note, and then the technical stuff is like, is it chest voice or is it head voice? Or is, basically, could you feel it here, or is it the falsetto stuff? And there's also a whole world of like the mix that's like in between, where like instead of people going like it's different.
Yeah.
So there's all these different things, but I would say a rule of thumb for yourself is just go to a keyboard and sing in the range that you can sing. I mean, you have a style that you like, so it doesn't, I mean, it's not like you're talking about range and not style. You're not really going to ever, I would assume you're not going to go out of your, probably the hip hop style, right?
Yeah. So my question is this, here's the issue now, right? I like, low, baritone, style, voice, range, vocal range. But I don't see this too often. When you sing in a low vocal range, right? You can't really hit certain emotions. It feels like it's like most of the intense emotions comes at like a high pitch on your screaming, vocally. Can you really?
No, because no. Well, you are and you're not, because you can do it both ways. I mean, it also depends. Like as soon as you're using recording equipment, you can do anything. Like if you have a microphone, your expression is really only limited by your ability as a singer, or singing off your voice, or singing to, like, it's so no, you can sing low and sensual, or low and angry, or whatever. You have a lower voice, you're probably like a baritone. So you're going to be able to be emotive lower. I can't sing anything probably in that range because I have a freakishly high voice. So, you know, even when I talk and I hear myself talk back, I hate it because I sound like Mickey Mouse. So you have a normal, like, lower male voice, and so you can sing comfortably, you know, in a lower range and be perfectly emotive. It just depends on what you want to sing. I mean,
okay.
I'd also
John Legend was a really good example. John, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was deferring to you because you and Bez are more knowledgeable than me on this, but I was going to say that emotional quality that you hope to capture by singing higher notes than you usually do is always going to be relative to where you start. So you can still capture whatever you're trying to, even if you're not in like the upper like 3 octaves of possible singing. I don't know. I don't know if that helps you at all.
Okay.
This
is probably a bad example.
Blake, you sound a little soft. I
do.
Why. Now it's better.
Yeah, now we hear you.
I'll just put this like, how much closer can I get it? Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like your stand.
Really
it's cool.
It's actually a lighting stand, and I just reconfigured it to do this because I was getting pissed off last night, and I was like, "Fuck this! I can't do it." And then I just,
that's nice.
Like a crane arm, I threw it out. I got upset.
No, it's cool because I wish I had one of those kind of stands, like the way you and JJ have. I don't. I have the typical.
Well, this is like this is taking up like 4x4 square feet over here.
That's a lot. That's too much. It's unacceptable.
Well, I just didn't want it to fall over.
No, it's good. What do you
anyway, I was
last example I was going to use, like a Frank Sinatra. You know, I have to probably listen to more of his music, but it seems like I don't know if he really gets too crazy. It's more so it's a steady emotion for the most part. He doesn't really, I'm talking about like, let's say you want to like go crazy. Like I'm talking about you want to rock out. You want to, you know, get freaky. You want to, you know, you don't really hear those styles with that low baritone style.
I know exactly what you mean. Like I sing in multiple ranges, and every time I sing in a higher range with my voice, or the way my girlfriend puts it, like she says it's normal. She's like, can you just sing with your normal like voice without like trying to like make it something like bassy or lower or like too high? Just like in your most comfortable range, try to sing that, and then she says it sounds like the voice sounds the best. Or
and it's tempting too.
Yeah,
I have the same problem.
It's like when you learn, for me as a non-singer, after 10 years of singing, I'm starting to hear it now, how it's really nice to just kind of like not be too loud when you sing, not be like in your words too low or whatever, just like sing the song in a normal, most comfortable way.
Yeah, I mean, JJ,
you can sing comfortable and train more to the higher register. There's not like
a book that's like you have to follow. Like you just sing how you want to sing. Also, I would say you use Frank Sinatra as far as a standard singer. Now, another part of the Rat Pack that could use his voice a lot better, that is much more emotive, I think, is Sammy Davis Jr. So if you're going to think of a lower voice standard singer, go listen to Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay.
Or Kiss, I guess.
Okay.
How are we defining standard here?
Or Kiss. I mean, it doesn't. Oh, standards, as in the standards that were written, not standard as in like standard.
No,
music,
I think part of
standards as in the era of music.
Yeah, it's a popular genre called the standards. Like I don't know, it's age specific. It's a like a bracket of a decade or two.
Like jazz has their own standards, there's the old jazz standards and all that.
The standards, like exactly, you get the book. I don't know how to. Somebody help me explain.
It's like American. It's like the American. It's like the American songbook. It's like George Gershwin and Cole Porter and all that.
Yeah, all that. They call the standards a specific time period when they were. And there was the famous Brill building where people were writing the standards, and it was people study songwriting. They all study that. And Frank Sinatra is definitely not mixed, you know, and so is so many others are, you know. That's great. That was a great question, honestly. Almost like makes me want to like talk about recording voice, you know.
And the only problem about there's another issue, being that I like auto-tune. The only problem about finding your voice is like it doesn't need as much auto-tune. So,
which is great in my opinion.
That's an interesting.
But people like the sound of auto-tune, so it's damn.
I would be a dissenter from that. I would say I'd like to hear the unique qualities that someone only has in their voice rather than the auto-tune, like just drown it in like the auto-tune thing. Thank you. Yeah,
this guy.
I like. You can use it well. You can use it as an accent, but people, it's like ranch dressing. You can have like a little bit, and then people just drown their salad in ranch, and then they're like, "Wow, this is great." Like, I personally don't think it's great, and I think you have a nice voice, and I would like to hear it not drowned in ranch.
Yeah. No, I think it's absolutely right. Like, I hear production.
Thank you.
Increasing the voice, like as a pop producer, you want to use the autotune to create. To me, it sounds like a coat. It's like a fur or coating on the voice, like almost like varnishing a piece of art.
Yeah.
And it creates this polish effect, but not to a point where you're changing the way the voice sounds. We're just getting this slight effect. It's almost like a sound effect on the voice where you hear the voice and it sounds more, I guess, more pleasant, more polished. I want to say polished. I want to use an example of a varnishing art because it just sounds more polished. But there's on autotune there is like a threshold between sounds natural and polished versus like it sounds like T-Pain.
Yeah, maybe next week's session we can touch on that a little bit. How can you not make? Okay, I know how to sort of polish it a little bit. Of course, you can dial back on some of the knobs, but it's still auto-tune has that. It feels like you have a heavy like flanger on every auto-tune vocal.
I know.
Like, how do you remove that unnatural sound? At least to dial it back a bit. It might still be there, but just reduce it.
Right. Exactly. And
that might be, if we could touch on that for like maybe.
Well, we could probably talk about auto-tune next time. I think it's a great topic.
The more you match pitch, the less you will need it.
Yeah. Do you have?
What's that?
Go ahead. Sorry, Blake.
I'm sorry. What did you say, JJ?
No, I was saying you said something. I hit in here.
Oh, the more you match the pitch, the note you're trying to sing. Auto-tune is just pitch corrective. Like, yeah, there's that flanger quality to it, but you're ideally using it to try to fix yourself from being out of key. So the more in key you sing, the less you'll need to use it. I know there's other applications for it as well. But.
Yeah, which
also if you're singing way out of key, it's gonna not know where you want to be. It'll adjust it to other notes that are not in the chord. But I would say that you should go look up some of like the master raw recordings of people, like just vocals of some people from even as late as the 90s. Actually, I brought up like Whitney Houston, Freddie Mercury's another really good one. Listen to these people sing without like before it's put into the mix, and you'll see that they didn't need anything. It's like all they did was they enhanced what they had already. And I'm not saying that some people do good with a little bit of it, but I think sometimes the pitfalls of listening to today's music, because it's so perfect, people go and they're like, they try to sing the song and it's like, why can't I sing this song the way this person sings the song? It's like, well, the answer is because that person can't sing the song the way they just sang the song.
Yeah.
To an extent. I'm not saying everybody, but I mean, largely I think it can be, you have to use it as a tool, just like compression or EQ or anything like that. And you do little bits of it to mold your sound. You don't do it to completely change yourself as an artist, because then people go to your concert and you're like, wow, this person sounds like shit.
Yeah. They have to use autotune live.
Autotune party. No, there are cool ways to use it. Right? Like I'm not trying to be dismissive.
I might make an autotune live party actually. So
you said we might do that?
I might make a party that's called autotune live, where people sing. It's a karaoke, but everybody sings on pitch.
Hey, that'll make a lot of people comfortable.
How drunk will
I don't need that stuff.
No, I know. So when it happens, I'll invite everyone's invited, of course.
Then we'll just sing with no autotune. He'll just sing.
Until there's a technical difficulty, and
Well, when you're so like, I guess we could talk a little bit about, since we're talking about like recording the voice, I can just want to mention a couple of things. We could talk about like how you usually record, like gain stage, like gain staging, like recording interface, what you actually looking at, metering, like that relationship, which is really important between like you singing, you're recording, what you're seeing in Pro Tools. I feel like those are very important. it's important to understand what's happening, and I don't think everyone really gets to the bottom of it enough. So I'm just gonna share my screen because I just want to let you guys see and talk basically about this stuff. So like, what? So how do you usually do it, right? Usually, what we create a track, right, to record.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just double click here, it gets you a stereo audio, but we don't need a stereo. We need a mono audio, right? So then I can do Command Shift and return. That creates an audio track. If you want, we usually need a master track, right? Everybody uses a master track to like understand what's happening globally to our session. So hold Shift, double click here, you have your. But the funny thing is, whatever you do last gets created again. This is mono versus stereo here.
Mm-hmm.
So once you create a mono, it'll just keep giving you monos. So that's not actually very good. So I guess you want to do the old school way, track new, and then stereo. Master fader. The other way to do it is if you're starting from scratch, a good way would be to do it, I guess, start with the master fader first, right? So like hold Shift. See, when you do it in the very beginning, when you don't do anything, it gives you stereo. So holding Shift and double clicking here gets you the stereo, and then go ahead and make a mono audio track. And that's a good flow. So I'm going to make it a little bigger. Does anybody know how to make this track height a little larger? Anybody can help us out?
It's the same as Abbott, I know.
Back click where the arrow is.
This right
here. Right click with it. Yeah.
Left click, right click.
Ooh,
yep. What if
let's do extreme? That sounds cool.
What if we do like both? How can we do both of them at the same time? How can we make it sort of like
select both and then right click?
Well, you would hold the Option button or the Alt button. It's apply all, right? Alt is apply all, and just make it large, for example. The other thing is kind of like there's like a weird command, control Options up and down. It kind of does that. So that's always, but anyhow, that's not a big deal. I just wanted to make these meters like high, right? Also, do you see, you guys will usually, when you have old Pro Tools, you usually start out like this. See how skinny these meters are?
Yeah.
But then these are like kind of wider. So I like to work with wider meters. It's called the power clock. The Shift, Control, Options, and Commands are your modification button. They call the modification buttons, or the mod buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you just hold Control, Options, and Commands, Control, Option, Command is considered a power clock. So it's like, so you do your power clock, Control, Options, and Commands, and you click on these meters.
And for Windows?
For Windows, it's Control. For Windows, it's Windows, Alt, and
Control. Windows, Alt, Control.
Yeah. And you guys are running Windows, that's right. So it's Windows, Alt, Control.
Okay.
And you can make this a little thicker. I like that. If I want to remove any of these, you just hold Alt. You always hold Alt to remove something. So hold Alt and just kind of like.
I think I just missed something, but I'll leave it at that.
No, it's fine. What do you mean? It's just.
No, it's never mind. It was a moment. Just nothing.
Oh, you mean the thicker one?
Well, I mean, we're live, but oh well.
Yeah, that moment is gone. You have to be there. Just go. This is my toolbar, and you basically, this is called a pop-up. Whenever you see a triangle in a circle, it's a pop-up. I just want to see stuff like zoom controls, maybe. Just want to see it. I can move things around. Hold Command or Control to move things around like that, if necessary. Anyway, so like recording, can't really switch out of this. So maybe I can bring in, usually I would say recording here. But let's talk about it because of Zoom. I can't really, I have to like switch out my system, which I could. But let's say, how do you usually, when you, let me import some sound just so we can have a reference. Or maybe I could switch real quick. I'm just switching so that like I can pick up my voice a little bit. You always want to say no to those. All right, so what would be a way to record something in Pro Tools? Like, how can I record my voice right now? Like, what would be the procedure for recording?
You wanna arm the track first.
Yep.
And actually, before you go forward, here's the thing, right? I've seen this before on YouTube. It's the only reason why I do it. Does anybody else mute the track while they record?
Sure.
Oh, that's a thing? Okay.
That's what I just instead of muting, and that's why you asked, I actually went on the volume a little bit like lower volume so that I don't get that feedback.
Oh, okay. Because I realize that's the only way I don't get feedback, but I only seen like one person do that on YouTube. So
yeah, absolutely. I feel there's even an option like somewhere in the options. There is. I feel like I know there is like
okay.
Like somehow automatically mutes it or something like that.
All right.
That's more that topic is available in the 200 level courses.
Pro Tools NYC.
Pro Tools NYC. Try to be where the money be. No. So yes, but that's a good point. Basically, you either want to hit the mute button or this. This is like if you're in an environment, like if because I have monitors in front of me right now, so it's gonna pick up my mic. But if I'm in where you guys are, like two of you have headphones on, right? If I was in that situation, then I didn't have to do it, right? That's
okay. But here's the thing, right? Sometimes it picks up even from my headphones.
Sure, it does, of course, because it's feedback from your headphones.
It's not until I started using Pro Tools, I started thinking to myself, how do studios operate? Because I realized, wait a minute, because I don't remember ever going to a studio recording with my headphones and it picks up feedback. But of course, I'm not paying attention to what the engineer's doing. I'm in a booth. But yeah, it just made me realize, like, wait a minute.
The type of headphones that you actually buy.
Okay.
There's like shielded monitors, shielded headphones that don't really play the music too loud.
Okay.
I mean, externally, obviously. Internally, it plays as loud as you want. And that's important. But if you actually like get acapellas or instrumentals, sometimes you'll hear like either the acapella bleed or you'll hear the instrumental. Like
you'll hear it a lot in drum tracks, actually.
There it is.
Because drum track, I mean, there's so many mics going on and it's hard to isolate unless it's in a drum room. But if you're in a room and the band's like, no, we want to record together, it's like you're going to hear some of the bleed over into those drums, which is actually okay. I mean, it's all the same sound. You don't really hear it in the final track because there's so much going on. So it's not so unusual.
That's right.
Okay.
At the Electric Lady Studios, they had in the West Village, right? That's the one in the West Village, Electric Lady. I think so.
Sure.
Electric Lady. Yeah, at this a while back at Electric Lady Studios, in the West Village, they had when they were doing it, their first floor is kind of like almost a ground floor, almost like a basement, and somehow they have like water in there. So they have this that's like water that's natural, that's just coming into the studio. So they have like this pump, this machine that just pumps the water from the ground and kind of collects it and recycles it. Because they're not gonna strike a studio because no one knew about this water situation in the basement. So they have a little machine now in the background that's kind of hums a little bit for all their recording, but no one really knows because they did a lot of like loud rock and roll music. But if you have the acapella, you might hear like something like that, some noises. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff happens in recordings that you have no idea that it happens. because you just listen to the finished product and you think it's just part of the acoustics or the harmonics or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like somebody banging on like the door or something. Like, you just don't know because the take was so good. You don't want to like fuck up the take. The take was so good. You would improve the take even though there's some sounds you don't want in there.
Okay.
And sometimes it's better like that. Sometimes that's all you have. It's a good take. With extra noises. You know, so yeah, so for me, for this moment, I'm doing volume soft because I don't need to hear myself back. If you know what I mean, like I don't need to hear myself back because I can hear what I'm saying. But if I need to hear music, you do have to mix it a particular way to hear things a particular way in your headphones, right? You can even have a headphone mix, right? So that's it. So I just want to like, you know, and it's like how much of it is being this is the gain, right? What we're seeing here is due to the gain on your interface, right? So make sure your gain on the interface is not too loud. Does that make sense? Like you don't want to crank it up too much. You want to have a comfortable situation. Yes. That's really the only, because once you well, there's no other way of saying it. Once you fuck up your gain, you can't go back. Right? So you can't record too loud. It's the truth. There's nothing in Pro Tools that you can do to make it non-distorted sound, unfortunately. So make sure you find the perfect gain first.
So the gain on the interface, it shouldn't be like at the last knob or close to the, like it shouldn't be at the max, basically.
No, not at all. It should be. It should be. Well, it depends. I shouldn't say that. Like no, but it should be at 3 o'clock. I think that's safe. And maybe that's too much. It could be at noon, 12 o'clock. It just depends. Like I don't know. If you're like Shahrani from SNL, you're probably gonna need like you know, you're gonna need like the whole
12. I love Shahrani. Oh my god, that stuff is so funny.
And sorry for being too detailed, but we're specifically talking about the mic gain, right, on your interface.
Specifically mic gain, right? So
the mic gain should not be cranked to the max.
The mic gain should be around 3 o'clock. That should give you safe signal.
It also, I will add, it also depends on how close you are to your microphone.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, if you're singing on a stage and the microphone, or a room and the microphone's in the back, I mean, you can adjust the gain appropriately, but you definitely don't want to clip anything, because once it's clipped, it's done.
Yeah. Yep. So the engineer that I was working with at Soundtrack Studios, his name is Tony Prendette Carter. He has multiple Grammys, and he got the Grammys. I was producing and he was the engineer, and he got the Grammys because he would ride, and that's something I learned from him. He got the Grammy for this. He would ride the gain as the singer is singing to accommodate the levels of the song being recorded, the voice. So he would be a human compressor. He would just
mix it live.
He would mix it live. Exactly. He would ride the gain either this way or this way. Either it's a fader or it's a knob, but he would know the song, know the singer, and adjust constantly, nonstop, so that it comes out into Pro Tools already kind of good. That's like, I guess the most thing about recording is to make sure you have a good, healthy signal coming in. Not too weak, not too loud. Weaker is better than louder. Like, meaning if it's a little bit softer than you wanted, it's okay. If it's louder than you wanted and if it's distorting, then you can't use that. It's unusable. Right? So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's important. You know, and then like also, well, that's so about as far as Pro Tools, you can figure out your gain situation. Like, I'm going to hit the record button. So, okay, so how do I record now? Okay, so I have it here. I armed my record enabled button, right? So now it's record enabled, it's armed. Now what's the next step?
Oh, yeah, you arm and then you hit 3 to record.
3? Did you say 3?
Yeah, 3.
Numeric keypad 3, right?
Yeah, numeric keypad 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's recording and you could see my voice, and that's kind of how that's done. Oh yeah. How do I stop it?
Space bar or 3 again, if I'm not mistaken.
Is 3? I usually do numeric keypad 0, but let me hit 3 this time. Nope, it's numeric keypad 0. Besides the space bar. Space bar.
Besides space bar 0.
Mm.
Okay. I usually just hit space bar. Okay.
You'll soft.
It's both.
It's both.
It's both. Yeah. JJ, you
are a little hard to hear.
Oh, sorry.
So what I wanted to talk to you about, which is super exciting, is what you see is not necessarily what it is.
Okay.
So check this out.
By the way, sorry, I turned my gain down because I was like, oh shit, my interface gain has been screwed up this whole time. That's probably why I got soft.
Not during this call, not during this session. We're talking about doing recording, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just going to options. This right here, pre-fader meter, is usually on. Pre-fader metering is usually on in Pro Tools. So what you're getting is this. Well, let me go back to Zoom. So once you work on your gain and you bring in a good gain into, like, once you bring the good gain here, it's crucial to have the master fader, stereo master fader, because usually you are in options pre-fader metering. And what that does, it'll show you, you see how my volume here is at 0. Let's say it's at 0. Okay, so it's recording, and let's say it's at negative infinity. And look, I'm still getting the meter here. You see this meter? Mm-hmm. So even when you're adjusting the volume, oh yeah. How do I stop it? Okay, so it's recording and you could see my voice. So no matter what you do here, you don't get to see it in the meter, right? So just remember that. The way you get to see what's happening here is by going here and expanding it. Then you actually see the master here. Okay, so it's recording. And see, the master tells you the truth about what is actually happening to your mix. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is important to understand. So whatever you do in the volume does not affect, it's part of the mixing, right? You really use the master meter to understand what's happening. The gain, if you do gain, then you can change it. It'll change. Okay, so it's recording and you could see my voice. See how it's changing. That's kind of how that's done. Oh, how do I bring it to default? Does anybody remember what key to hold to bring it to default?
Hit was it Alt and click on it? Yeah,
like that. All right, that's all I wanted to talk about. Like, I just wanted to make sure you understand the gain coming in, and that when you're moving your volume here, it doesn't do anything to this meter. You have to be looking at your master meter. That's important to understand. And you push it back, option, Alt click. All right, we'll just continue off. Well, we could talk about other things, but we'll just continue off next time.
Okay.
I mean, we can still talk. We'll stay in the Zoom though for a minute. But do you have any, before I stop the share, do you have any questions about this or anything else that's like super right?
No, just wanted to reconfirm because I felt like I've been using my my audio interface wrong. So always put the mic gain at 12 to 3 o'clock about to be safe.
No, it has to be like this, like here. You have the audio coming in, the meter has to look decent. Okay. Like this is good. If it looks like this, it's good. If it looks like this, it's good. If your signal looks like this the whole time, like you see how it's close to like 4 in the ceilings,
Yeah.
You don't want to have it like, you don't want it to look like this coming in. You definitely don't want it like that.
Okay. What if you're singing loudly and it just looks like that?
Yeah, so just make sure it looks closer to like.
So even if you're hitting a high note, it still shouldn't look like that.
Well, that's
where it's technically louder.
Compressor. We're talking about then you have to either compress it, coming in with the compressor, or just step away from the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I mean, JJ, really good rule of thumb. Like you could go to the loudest part of your song and just sort of hit record for a minute and see how it's looking, and then adjust after that. Because if you're like, oh, okay, it's sitting here, I just hit my highest or loudest note, and it's better like if I have it at noon, then you do it that way. You just sort of have to, like, as soon as you know what your voice is doing, you'll have a better idea. Like it doesn't have to. You don't have to record the whole song and be like, oh crap, I just clipped like a billion times. You just like record a few bars. Oh, that's too loud. Burp. Also, typically I can usually hear crunchiness if it starts clipping, but I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good point. What Daniel just said, I completely forgot about that.
Okay.
He's absolutely right. You want to test your loudest point, and you want to find, if you're not working with another engineer who can help you, if you're just you engineering yourself, you want to find the loudest point. And it's exactly what Daniel said. Like, find the loudest point, make sure it's not clipping, and then that sets your game. That sets your game.
Okay. So so quick example, let's say it's a rock song and the chorus for that rock song, you got to clip the hell out that thing because you got to go like super loud, super wild, right? Is it, if you clip that intensely, is it better to put the compressor, that plug in on the individual track, or to run the compressor from another bus and put it within the sends? Or if it's just that, if it's just clipping tremendously, just say, you know what, I'm gonna put the compressor directly on that vocal track. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, I totally zoomed out of that one.
So in other words,
that was weird. That was like, I remembered my mom putting me to sleep a little bit, and I was like,
I know what you're saying. Okay, so I have a
for those of us who were here.
Yeah. I have a partial, if not a solution. So sometimes what I do, if I'm on occasion that I'm recording anything vocally, if there are clear sections and I know that one section is going to be louder than the other, I will make another track.
Okay.
Or if you want to get super fancy, you can automate compression, but that's a whole other beast. That's probably if you know how to do it, it's probably the easiest as far as like view. But anytime you look at like a mastering track, there's going to be multiple like instances of the chorus and all this stuff, and you're going to record different sections anyway, because you're going to want to pick which one you want to put in there. That's the glory of like recording rather than doing it live. So if you can, just make another track and be like, okay, I'm going to fool around with the B section of the song. And then you can only have to focus the compression on that part, like that track specifically. You don't have to be like, oh, well, now I have to put the compression up really, really high on this part of the track. Well, now you don't have to worry about it. Just put another track in there for their bridge.
Okay.
Or whatever you're doing.
Okay. All right.
That's right. All right, well, guys, you are sticking around here, but we are gonna
automate your compression. That's.
You said automate. Okay. See, when I hear automate your compression, I'm thinking create a aux bus, and then just put your compression and all your plugins on that bus, and then just all right, gotcha, and then just link it through a sends to that track. All right. Okay.
It might be you might want to record that aux actually. If you're gonna compress it, you might want to create an aux, put a compressor on the aux.
Yeah.
And send that aux to a recording channel and record that aux.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the best way to record a compressor.
Okay.
We could maybe even talk about it. Okay, it could be fun.
Yeah.
It's an important topic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, the ones who are watching on YouTube. And as far as us, we're going to continue our sort of Zoom only exclusive thing of the Pro Tools NYC for people who are in the Zoom thing, which
Pro
is
Tools
us.
NYC.
Pro Tools NYC.
Supposed to say that.
Shameless marketing. Shameless marketing. It will soon say that.
I can come get that in 30 seconds.
Yeah, the Pro Tools people will come and give you the hats wherever you are.
Even if you don't want them, they'll just show up at your
They will
house.
show up like Santa Claus in
With the
middle of
pillow
night.
and the mug.
With the oh yeah,
The full package.
that's a like a man purse or just
You
a
actually get better at recording the more Pro Tools merchandise you buy. It's a very
yeah, it's incredible. What is it called? A tote bag. It's a tote bag.
Leave the
Is that the
really
thing
nice.
behind you? That's
Yeah,
the
it's
tote
really
bag?
nice actually. It's like waterproof. So I've been
I can
enjoying
use it to buy my groceries because the store gives me the bags that rip every time.
Yeah, that it's very good quality. I actually spend like a long time finding really good quality stuff. So it's actually high quality products. And we do have a new store thingy that looks super cool. Check this out. Am I still working on it? Or are we still streaming, right? Yeah, we are.
Well,
But
make sure you
why
stop
not?
right before we get to the secret of good recording.
But no, it's okay. Look, it's like look, so it's like you're here, you made it, now it'd be great. So it's just gonna keep growing. Like now we're gonna have more books available, more merchandise. It's pretty cool. I like it, you know? It's just store.protoolsnc.com. So I'm excited about that. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen now.
No, you're not.
Oh,
about to tell you
well, then that doesn't help anyone, does it? It's this. So it's store.protoolsnc.com, and then this will be more, we're gonna have all the books for all the levels and the merch, more everything. Just more every day, more.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna say thanks for watching and see you next time, guys.
Bye.
But not you guys, just the other
yeah,
guys.
just
You
the
guys
usual.
stay.
Just yeah.
Yeah, the other guys ago.